This is Jared Horek for today's RacingDigest.com, and my Today's Racing Digest video series continues. Saturday, July 20th, 2019, Haskell Day at Monmouth Park. We're going to look at all 6 stakes races, and I'm going to give my top win contender for each of those races. Let's jump right in, and let's start with the 5th race for Monmouth Park. It's going to be the Grade 3 Oceanport, and they're going to be traveling 1 mile and a 16th on the turf course. Your 3 favorites, I think the winner is going to come from your 3 favorites, and I'm hoping that the highest price of the 3 favorites will get the job done. Divisadero is your 3-2 favorite. Nothing wrong with him. He's a solid competitor. He tries hard from off the pace. He hits the board more than he wins. He really likes the Churchill Downs turf course. That's where he really excels. But he always tries hard no matter which turf course he's running on. But I think his late run could come up a bit short in here. Number 4 projected is your second choice at 2-1. He's only 3 for 24 on turf with 11 second place finishes for trainer Chad Brown. Usually takes more money than he should on the win end. He's another one that tries hard, but he usually comes up a bit short. Your 3rd choice on the morning line is my top choice. Number 6, Just Howard. He's 5-2 morning line. I think he's the right one to back in here. He should offer a bit more value than the other 2, and he also has maybe a bit more tactical speed than those 2 runners. He removed blinkers in his last couple starts, and he ran well in both of them. He got 146 and 155 Today's Racing Digest final ratings in those 2 races. And he always runs a good race at this distance. 6 starts, 3 wins, and 3/3. As I said, I think he's going to get the jump on the other 2, and he can score. I'm hoping that 5-2 morning line holds up. Let's jump over to the 8th race from Monmouth Park, the Grade 3 Molly Pitcher, 1 mile and a 16th on the main track. Your favorite's going to be almost impossible to beat in here, but let's talk about some of the value contenders maybe. The 4 Electric Forest for Chad Brown, lightly raced, good pedigree. She looked good winning in the Double Dog Dare. That was on a wet track last time. She has some tactical speed. She's not as good as Midnight Bisou, your heavy favorite, but I could see her being competitive in this spot. If you're looking for maybe a horse to spice up the exotics, if you think Midnight Bisou can't be beat, maybe number 2, Coach Rocks at 12-1 for trainer Dale Romans. She ran some good races last year as a 3-year-old filly. She was in the stakes ranks. She hit the board. She won a graded race, the Gulfstream Oaks. She's one that might be able to bounce back. She's run 3 times this year, and she finally bounced back with a victory last time. That was against Optional Claiming Company, though. That was a wet track at Churchill Downs on June 23rd. Luis Saez rides her well. She likes this distance. Maybe she's rounding back to that good 3-year-old form, and if she is, maybe she can complete the exacta. But I think it's going to be almost impossible to beat Midnight Bisou in here. She's 3-5 morning line. She's probably going to be more like 1-9. She's 8 for 8 at this distance. She's 4 for 4 in 2019. She earned a couple of 150 final ratings and a 153 final rating in her last 3. None of her competitors can run that fast. She can stalk the pace, she can close. I just think she's classier, she's faster than these, and she's likely to win at a short price. Let's go to the 9th race at Monmouth Park, the Wolf Hill Stakes. 5.5 furlongs on the turf course. There's a few contenders in here. Number 4, Fig Jelly is your morning line favorite, but I think this one for Jason Service could take a bit more money than she should on the win end. She's 0 for 5 at this distance on turf with 4 second place finishes. So maybe she's one you might want to key in second. She is capable of winning though. The number 8, My Tai 1 On, 7-2 morning line, coming in from New York. Trainer Jane Sibeli's having a good meet at Monmouth Park. Paco Lopez rides, has some tactical speed, could move forward in his 3rd start after a layoff. He disappointed last time out. Justaholic, number 7, he's 9-2 morning line. He switched the turf last time out, and he looked good winning. That was an optional claiming race, and that was his first start in more than a year. In almost a year, and that was on July 8th. So he came off that long layoff. He ran well on turf. He's got to avoid a bounce. I'm going to go with the 5, Tricks to Do. 5-2 morning line. I think he was a bit outgunned in the Highlander last time. It was a grade 1 at Woodbine. Much better spot here. They paid $600,000 for this one, and he's been competitive in his other turf sprints. Besides last time where he really didn't get involved, but 4 other turf sprints, he's been in the hunt. He's run some good races with some tactical speed. His best 2 final ratings in turf sprints for Today's Racing Digest, he got a 146 and a 141. Those numbers match up with any of your other top contenders in here. And then the jockey trainer team could be the key. Looking at the Today's Racing Digest jockey trainer stats, they're showing the jockey trainer team of Trevor McCarthy, Arnold Delacour, 6 for 12 together. So you have a good combination here, a horse with competitive numbers and tactical speed. I think he's got a good shot in the Wolf Hill. Let's jump over to Monmouth Race 10, the Grade 3 Monmouth Cup, 1 mile and an 1/8 on the main track. Your favorite's Cold Front. He's 8-5 in here. He was on the good inside in the Met Mile. That was Belmont Stakes Day, that the inner portion of the track, those inside lanes were strong. He was setting the pace, but that was a grade 1. I think he was a bit overmatched in there. Also, that was his first start back from Dubai. He won the Godolphin Mile in Dubai, and then he came off the layoff. That was his first start back. He could easily move forward in this race. He's earned the numbers more than good enough to win this. It's just a question, does he really want to go a mile and an eighth? Maybe he will against this kind of competition, but he's not going to offer a lot of value. Number 4, Monongahela. Now that one is 3-1, and he was my top choice in the Island when I did my last video for Monmouth Park on Island Day, and he got a 150 final rating, winning the Island. And I like that improved tactical speed he showed that day. He was able to get up on the pace. He typically comes from pretty far back, but this time he was up on the pace, powered home easily to a nice victory. So if he can get closer to the pace again like he did last time, he could win back-to-back stakes races at Monmouth. But I'm going to go with the 2 Lemonade Thursday. 9-2 morning line. That was a big win coming off the layoff last time. That was an optional claiming victory, getting a 133 CPR. The CPR for today's Racing Digest comprehensive performance rating, which takes into account pace, final time, and closing fraction. Got a 98 fire number. The fire number is speed throughout a race, and a 146 final rating. Those numbers really match up with this group. This is a 4-year-old colt. I think he's the now horse in here. He's certainly improved as a 4-year-old. And if he can run that same kind of race that he did last time against Stakes Company, I'll take my chances at 9-2. Monmouth Race 11, the Grade 3 Matchmaker. 9 furlongs on the turf course. Multiple horses have a shot in this race. Zenobia, number 7, is 8-1 morning line. Was 4th in her U.S. debut. That was her first start in more than 10 months. Jonathan Thomas, very good with Shippers. Second after the layoff. I could see this one improving in this spot. Toriga for trainer Graham Motion. She was really good in Brazil last year. Now she's in the Motion Barn, making her first start in the U.S. We'll have to see. Maybe she might need the race, but she did show talent in Brazil. Number 3, Valedictorian, 5-2 morning line. I think this one could be the one to catch again. Got out there, pretty easy pace last time. She was a strong favorite in the Eatontown, a grade 3 at Monmouth. Won that one easily. She's 9 for 19 on turf overall. She's 4 for 5 on the Monmouth turf. So she has that speed. She's sharp. If she can get out there and control it, she could be interesting. But I think at a mile and an eighth, they might be able to run her down. One of the horses that could run her down, number 6, Competition of Ideas, 9-5 morning line. Very consistent, versatile turf performer for trainer Chad Brown. This one, in her last start, she got a last fraction of 35.2 seconds on June 2nd. So she can fly late, and she's really going to be going after Valedictorian, who most likely will be in front heading into the stretch, but Competition of Ideas could move forward. Her third start after a layoff, she's going to be finishing. But I'm going to go with the 2, I'm So Fancy. Another one that can finish. She's 9-2. She disappointed a bit in her U.S. debut, but then in a stakes race at Laurel last time, she was outstanding. She stalked the pace. She pulled clear. She finished her last fraction in 35.3 seconds. The runner-up in that race was Theodora B. And Theodora B returned to finish second in a grade 3 at Delaware Park recently. So she beat a good horse last time. She's improving. That was a good effort, improved effort in her second U.S. start. So now if she can improve again, she could be interesting. And we mentioned this jockey trainer team, Trevor McCarthy, Arnold Delacour, from Tricks to Do from Monmouth Race 9 today. They're 6 for 12 together, as I said before. So I have that good jockey trainer team again in this spot. A good finisher at turf. I think she's going to love this 9 furlong distance. Finally, Monmouth Race 12, the Grade 1 Haskell. A mile and an eighth on the main track for 3-year-olds. Some horses to look at in here. I think the pace is going to be honest, and one of the horses that's going to be up on the pace is number 2, Jovia, 10-1 morning line. This is another one, as I mentioned with Cold Front, was racing on the good inside on Belmont Stakes Day. Was just able to get out there, ride the good inside, moderate pace, hang in there throughout, and finish a good third. Could take too much money based on that effort. I think the pace is going to be quicker in this shorter race. Going to have to run harder throughout. Even though he is 2 for 2 at Monmouth, I just think he meets other quality speed in here. I think when it comes to the serious running in the stretch, he could be in trouble. The 6, Everfast, is one I really have never really liked. He's 10-1 morning line, but I do like his running style to get a piece of this. I don't think he can win, but I think he could rally for third in a race like this. There's tons of speed, And he's jumped up in there and run well a few times, at least twice anyway. In the Holy Bull, he was over 100 to 1 earlier this year, and he rallied to finish second. And then in the Preakness, he was 29 to 1, and he rallied to finish second. So I think if the pace kind of falls apart, he can grab a piece of this. King for a Day, number 1, 5 to 2 morning line. Now, he upset Maximum Security last time. I picked him in my Today's Racing Digest video there. I thought he would offer value when he had tactical speed, catching Maximum Security on the right day there. That one hadn't run since the Kentucky Derby, and I just thought that was a good spot. He was drawn outside that one, and he was able to just go past and run a good race that day to get the victory. Now, from the inside post, I'm not sure that he's going to be able to work out that same kind of trip because, as I said, in the Pegasus, he was drawn outside his main pace rival. He ran a good tactical race. Now he's down on the inside with a lot of speed to his outside. We'll have to see what kind of trip he can work out from that inside post. If somehow he can either get to the front and open a clear lead, or if he can save some ground behind the speed and the speed tires and the rail opens up, maybe things can work out for him. But now he's not going to offer as much value. And I said, I'm not sure what kind of trip he can work out. The 7 Maximum Security, I think he couldn't run a better race today. He's one that the Pegasus was just a prep. He needed a race after the Kentucky Derby to get him ready for the Haskell. This was $1 million race. The Pegasus wasn't even a graded race, so he was clearly second best. He didn't have a great start that day, but I don't think it was the end of the world that he didn't win. He ran well. He earned a decent number. He's got that good speed. He's one that certainly fits with these. He's a former claimer. He's one I still really don't know how good he is, because in the Florida Derby, there was absolutely no pace, and they let him walk, and they just basically handed him the lead and the race when he was just able to just cruise to an easy win that day. And then in the Kentucky Derby, it was that weird wet track, and he was able to get out there again and get up on the pace. And then he had his number taken down. And then in the Pegasus last time, he did have some excuses for not winning that one, but again, he didn't win. So since he's been up into the stakes ranks, he hasn't been as impressive. And with other speed in here, the outside post, he's not going to offer any value. Everybody knows this horse from the Kentucky Derby, all the publicity. He's just going to take more money than he should, but he's obviously a win threat in here. I'm going to go with the Bob Baffert trainee, number 5, Mucho Gusto. He's 2 to 1 morning line, and Bob Baffert just owns this race. Since 2001, when Point Given won it, Bob Baffert settled the winner of this race 8 times. So he knows what it takes to win the Haskell. He sends horses that have good early pressing speed, and Mucho Gusto should fit this track perfectly. He drew well. He drew outside a lot of the speed. He didn't. The only one that really has speed that is on the outside of him is Maximum Security, but he drew a good pace. He's versatile. He drew a good post. Sorry, he's versatile in here. I didn't know how much stamina he actually had. I always thought he was better around one turn, but he really ran well in the Affirm last time out. He was able to relax from the outside post, and I think that was the key. He drew outside. He was able to relax, and he finished up nicely. The pace wasn't quick, and he relaxed off of that pace under Joe Talamo, finished nicely in that race, and now 1 mile and 1/8. I think at Monmouth Park he can get 1 mile and 1/8. He can stalk the pace here, get the jump on some others, and maybe some others will be tired as well. Maximum Security might get hung out too close to the pace. Who knows what kind of trip King for a Day is going to get from the inside, but I think I know what kind of trip that Mucho Gusto is going to get. He's going to be stalking the pace within striking range throughout, and he can maybe wear these down and get another Haskell victory for Bob Baffert. If you're interested in the Haskell Day Digest, go over to todaysracingdigest.com. You can find that from Monmouth Park. My full card analysis has returned now. Del Mar's back running their summer meet. My full cards each and every day will be available at todaysracingdigest.com for Del Mar each and every day that they run, 5 days a week. And you can find my Saturday full card there right now. So go over to todaysracingdigest.com and to find that. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and make some comments in the comment section. Who do you like in some of these Haskell Day Stakes races 2019 at Monmouth Park? And that will wrap up this week's video. I'll be back next week with another stakes race from around the country.